India has managed to reduce Australia to a relatively low score thanks to a heroic performance by our spin trio, Ravindra Jadeja, Ravi Ashwin and Kuldeep Yadav at the innings break. India have a very manageable target to chase at M.A. Chidambaram Stadium in Chennai, and now the battle is given forwarded to the batting lineup. India now boasts a deep batting lineup and all the way up to number 7 and perhaps number 8. And while Australia's pace attack is one to watch, India will be very confident sitting in this innings break with their opening encounter. Well, I have two of the eminent guests joining us right now. Shekhar, who's a television commentator, sports commentator and a consultant. Shekhar, I'd like to come to you first. What's the current score and how is it going in the last penultimate deliveries right now, if you were to watch it?
So I think right now as we talk, I think Australia is 190 for 9, and it's been India's game so far. I think the spinners have played a very important role, which was as per plan. But strangely, I also believe Australia is a very, very, very good World Cup team. You cannot take them lightly. This is the first game of the tournament, so every game is really important. Even though India might skittle Australia for less than 200 or 200, 115, but I still believe there is still work to be done. India has to be tested, and Australia has a good bowling attack. So they may lack in the spin department, but I really believe Australia is a very good team and they'll bring the best in the World Cup. So the game is not over till the last ball is bowled, but let's see how this match progresses. We were expecting something better from this because usually when India and Australia play, it's almost like two gladiators fighting it out. In the recent past, you've seen whenever India and Australia played, they've brought the best out of each other, especially their star players like Steve Smith, Virat Kohli, Glenn Maxwell, Rohit Sharma. All of them are like key players, and we really want to see how this entire the pressure of the World Cup brings out the best in them or not. Because I firmly believe, the World Cup is, every game is important. Every game is important. It's all about temperament. It's about match situation. It's about alacrity. It's about game awareness. It's also about understanding your resources well. India has been cut short by Shubham Gill's illness. Australia has come with a good bowling attack, good batting attack. And we all know when Australia play, they play as a team. So I think it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting game. And like I said earlier, it's not over till the last ball is bowled. Hopefully, it'll be an interesting fight back from Australia, because that's what we want to see. That's what the stadium, the people in Chennai would like to see, and that's what the people in social media would like to see. I think all around the world, this is the first game for India, and it promises a lot. Let's see how it goes on from here.
Well, absolutely, it promises a lot. We still have the final delivery that needs to be bowled, and we'll come to Dev Tyagi. Dev, what is, according to you, the final score for India, for Australia, and how good has Australia has been restricted by Indian bowlers?
Yeah, I think certainly one of those days where they definitely missed somebody like a Travis Head. And of course, they were a bit on the back foot because, they didn't really have this exceptional white ball player and somebody who's really made his presence felt in the last 2-3 years of playing competitive cricket at this level. But I think full kudos to the Indian spinners. If you actually think how good a surface Chepauk has been, 30 of the 50 overs that were bowled by our Indian bowlers, were actually bowled by the spinners. So basically a third of the bowlers were the spinners. And in the end, the results are in front of us. And fantastic performance by Ravindra Jadeja, who actually takes the lion's share of restricting the Australians to what right now seems like a modest total. But you never know what really happens in the chase,
Shekhar, we spoke about the spinners, and spinners were largely going to come to the party with the Chennai track, which is low, bouncy, and he holds the ball, and then there is a massive turn that happens. We've got some stats and some figures out here. From the 11th and the 40th over, only 92 runs were scored, 150 deliveries were bowled, and very interestingly, you had 15.2 average, strike rate was 60. Again, very important. And there were hardly any boundaries scored in that particular point. 5 boundaries and 1 6, making it 54% dot balls. Now, when you come into a game, and remember, Australia hasn't lost their opening encounters in the last 6 editions of the World Cup. And in some of the World Cups, they were the defending champion. Do you think it is a bad day in the office?
No, I don't think it's a bad day in office. We're still halfway into the game. There's still India still has to bat, and I think credit to the Indian bowlers. The Indian bowlers bowled well, which is especially the spinners. All the spinners we look at, they bowled well. They bowled accurately, and it's not easy to get somebody like a Ravindra Jadeja, scoring for runs. So I think Australia played the waiting game here. They thought they will, wait till the last 10 overs and score big there. But unfortunately, they didn't have the wickets to play with, because of which they really suffered. And like Mr. Tyagi was mentioning, I think they also missed the services of Travis Head as a spinner, because he's not just a spinner. He also comes in as a conventional all-rounder. He comes in as a left-hand player, and he can cause havoc to the bowlers too. So somewhere here, I believe though it's a low total, though it's a fighting total, it's these low totals which can be really tough to chase. If you've noticed in all the World Cup games you've seen, these low totals you can either make a match out of it, or you can really score big. You can score it like in 30 overs or 40 overs, which India should ideally do. India should do that, because taking advantage of the run rate. Because, I believe every game is a knockout game for India. Every game is important for India, and India would want to win every game. So treat every game like a knockout game. And yes, yeah.
Shekhar, I would like you to hold on to your thought. You said very importantly that it ain't over till it's over. And I'd like to take you back to the 2011 World Cup. England is facing South Africa. Same weather, same people, same kind of a thing. And guess what? England scores 171 runs. South Africa chases and gets scuttled at 165, with Ravi Bopara being the highest run scorer at 60. So, again, I've got a breaking in story. Australia all out at 199. Australia is now out at 199, which is a big thing. But again, coming back to the pitch, England versus South Africa, 171 was scored and South Africa was scuttled at 165. Do you think we should play with great caution?
No, I think it's a mix of both. We have the batting arsenal to go big or to go slow. The fact of the matter is, these people have played IPL games. We've got experienced players. We've got players who can play the sheet anchor role, and we've got so much of talent in our team. I think what we should really focus on is really building a partnership. Really, seeing off the Australian attack, because Australia has a good new bowling attack in any situation, in any condition. And let's not forget, Australia are the four-time World Cup champions. So you don't underestimate teams like them. Even though they might have been skittled out for 199. India has just 200 runs to win. It certainly won't be easy. But if India wins this, it will be a big fillip to India's boost. Because the first game against a tough opponent like Australia and skipping them out for less than 200, I think it's great news. But India should really go for the win and go for the jugular.
Absolutely, go for the jugular. We have to go back to our friend who's joined us, the journalist from Delhi. Dev, there has been great things happening, and it was a build-up to the overall World Cup. Do you think the World Cup has finally begun today, considering India is playing? It's a weekend, it's a big Sunday, India has got them out. I think, do you think the World Cup has just begun for India?
Absolutely. Going purely by the numbers, north of 1.3 CR viewership coming on the app, which is actually broadcasting this, definitely. So purely by the numbers, and of course the hype and the build-up has been amazing. And you have a particular game at the mother of all ODI battles where you have some massive names contesting against each other. Let's not forget that. So when you have players like Kohli going against Smith and Warner going against Rahul, and there's Rohit, and then there's Bumrah, Kuldeep and Stark and whatnot. So definitely it was always going to be a massive game. But I think I completely agree that the chase might be the more interesting part of this game, because you never know how a one-day game at this particular stage of the World Cup unravels. But definitely India have the strength. They would definitely be, the openers would be taking to the field with a spring in their steps. And just the basic realization that you have the asking run rate of 4 per over makes things slightly easy at the mental level of things.
Well, absolutely. Mental level comes in very interesting and important for India as well. Now, this is the lowest ever total for Australia batting first against India in ODI World Cup. The previous low was 237 for 9 in 1992. If you remember, that match was very closely poised, where Ajay Jadeja took the brilliant catch of Alan Border, and I think in that match Sachin Tendulkar was the man of the match. But that being history, that was many years ago. Do you think, Shekhar, it's a game of a wounded tiger that you've got Aussies back there with their back against the wall? Will they go out for everything, including the sledging part? Will they play the cricket hard?
I don't know. I've noticed the Australian team of late is very, very subdued. Even the kind of chemistry we have between Australia and India is almost like a romantic relationship, which I really want some drama in the game. I really want Indian team to be a little more assertive. There's a lot of camaraderie. I think it's also because of the IPL. Everybody's hugging each other. Everybody's whispering sweet nothings to each other. And this is not the Australian team which we all know. Right? The Australian team is a team which hunts and packs, which attacks in a wolf-like manner. They all come together as a team to just skittle you out. So I don't know, because their back is against the wall, they might just deliver the best. Like I said earlier, Australia is a team which you can never underestimate in the World Cup. In the World Cup, see, prior to this World Cup games, in the practice games, in the games they played against South Africa and the other teams, they didn't play really well. But somehow they always tend to get the A game up when it matters the most. So, World Cup games, come at the moment, come at the team, that's Australia for you. Well, and with India being, in India, I think it's going to be a great contest.
Well, it's actually a great departure from where India had played Australia in the 2011 World Cup. I think that's the closest reference we can get to. And the scores were 260 for 6 into 2011. That was the match where Ravichandran Ashwin spun his web and got them against the wall. But at the same time, you must give credit to the management to put together the spin trio, and also in the first part getting Ashwin, drafting him into the playing 15. Your views, Shekhar?
Absolutely. I think Ashwin played this game with the point to prove. Ashwin is a proven match winner for India. He's a superb tactician. I really don't understand why India has not used him well. He's not just. I also believe he's great captaincy material. He's a great player who thinks on the speed. He always has 2 or 3 different ideas to every problem, and he is a problem for the Australians. Though they were not accepted, but everybody knows that he has spun the Australians with his spin web. Now that said, the second thing is Ashwin also had a challenge here because he wanted to prove to the rest of the world that he's not just a T20 player or a Test player, but he's also a one-day ODI player. Fitness notwithstanding. And the third thing here is very, very clear. India's strength is a spin, and India should use that very, very effectively. There's nothing wrong with using spin. We have a good spin attack. We got accuracy. We got spin. We got guile. We got leg spin. We got off spin, and we got accuracy. So I don't think we should never short sell it. I think we should really just go for the kill and skittle out the opposition. I think that's what the operation should ideally be. And I think the management has done a great job here in managing the team, notwithstanding the fact that Shubham Gill is down with dengue and he would take a few games to recover. That's a crucial part, the opening combination. Because the opening partner is almost like a sous chef. Because the opening part actually plays an important role in getting the innings rolling, especially in ODIs, T20 or Test. So I think without Shubham Gill being there and with Ishan coming into the picture, it would be really different, I guess, the left and right combination. So let's see how it goes. It won't be easy for India, but if India wins this, it'll be great because, like I told earlier, I think smaller totals are very tricky to chase. Well, so it looks good for us when you're watching it, but very different.
Absolutely. Again, as we said, we're going to go back to the 2011 World Cup match between England and South Africa, whether it was a short match, low-scoring match. Again, we want to wrap up this show. Before we do that, I'm going to come back to Dev and ask him a question. Dev, how do you predict India to go out and gather their thoughts and play there? Will they go all out like they did with a point to prove in the Asia Cup, scoring at 10 runs and over? Or do you think they'll steady the innings, wear it out and rotate strikes and then go on to the total? Your views?
The latter. I think it's going to be an alliance between thoughtfulness and aggression. It's going to be a calculated approach. You don't just go bonkers from ball one. Of course, if the ball is too bad, then you just go for it. And of course, we definitely have the captain who's playing on a different pedestal, who's always played on a different pedestal altogether in one-day cricket, opening day innings. So what better anchor? He was talking about, our eminent guest was talking about the sheet anchor role. So what better anchor than Rohit Sharma to actually play that role today? And of course, there's also milestone alert coming up. He needs 22 more runs to go past 1,000 ODI World Cup runs, which is no mean feat. And then, of course, you have the depth in the batting order. The big highlight, of course, this big spotlight, of course, always hovering around Virat Kohli. And of course, why not? He's such an icon of our game. He needs 3 more centuries to, get to 50 ODI centuries, and then he's right now on 47, so probably can today be 48. But let's hope that the others also get a chance to score some runs, and all the batsmen are well prepared for the other excruciatingly challenging games that they may be, that they play those games with a bit more confidence and lots of runs under the belt.
Absolutely. They'll play with caution, they'll score and go for the kill, but at the same time, they'll wait, watch, and then rotate, strike, and go for that. That's all we had time for. Thank you, my eminent guest. It's always a pleasure having you, Shekhar and Dev, on the show.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.